Hello and welcome to the Sidings, and today in the Sidings, whoops, wrong way yet again. Oh, I hate this camera. There we go, right way. Click on you. That's right. Today we're looking at the U1F Bullet Nose Betties. Now you may be wondering why there's two versions here. Well, one version, some of them did actually end up losing that semi-streamlined conical nose that you see here on 6070. So that's why that's why 6063 looks like that. Ooh, the whistle. Which I presume was recorded from one of the three that are preserved. Which, chef's kiss, I love it. The bell? Ooh. A pneumatic bell. Now you may be wondering what this is. Well, 6060 had this. This is an auxiliary tender. So you could see where like the oil cistern would have sat right here. Where look at where the big area is, big open gaping hole is. That's where the oil cistern for these engines would have sat. The only thing that was left intact is the water capacity, or the water portion of the tender. And I'm going to tell you kind of a reason why you don't want to have an oil cistern in a water tender. Or use an oil cistern for a water tender. Once oil has coated something, like an oil cistern, or is at any point used or transported in a tank car or a tank container of some kind, it is nigh on impossible to get off. And on top of that, what that means is that essentially that cistern is ruined. You would have to make a whole new one from scratch to use it in the tender. But that would mean that whatever company ran her, whatever charter companies or charter services were using her, they decided that that was an expense they could do without. Because the engine would have to do 3 to 4 times as many rail tours and trains and heritage tours and all that to at least very minimally break even on that repair cost. It would not be feasibly viable. Now, if it were something like Union Pacific or whatever, they have enough freight trains and other sources of revenue that replacing an oil cistern in an oil burning tender that is now converted into an auxiliary tender, so that cistern can carry water instead of oil, could actually be feasible. But a lot of these other companies, they don't have that kind of money lying around. But that's not all that comes in this pack. Yep, we get coaches, sleepers, a diner, a first-class coach, and baggage cars. Oh, I love these passenger views. Wait, what was that? There's a wine bar? You know what that means? Time to get completely smashy smashy. Okay. Ooh. I like it. And this is what one of the sleeping coaches looks like. Too bad we don't get to see the bunks. And to be honest, I don't mind not having every little detail, like, spilled out for us. Oh, this is a dining car. Okay. So that's what that was. But, I'm okay not having every little thing spilled out for us. And to be honest, I think this is brilliant. There is one thing I want to look inside. The baggage car. Dang, it is empty. I would have thought there would be luggage inside of that thing. Oh well. Can't win them all, I suppose. But right now, what is our noble steed for the day? 6065. On a Vange train. These were primarily passenger engines? But in later life, when diesel started to take over passenger traffic, these engines were demoted to freight trains. Now, back in the days of steam, from what I gather, they did work fast, like overnight express freight trains. So these Minnesota Northern overnight boxcars, this wouldn't be out of the realm of what they would do. That they would just, if it was an overnight fast train, they were on it. Let's look at the cab. Cab views. This is K&L at their best. Oh, that is a beautifully modeled inside. Lever doing the dance. We're gonna slow off. Now you can see right here, this engine has the oil cistern in its tender. But, like I said, one of the tenders was purchased from a scrapyard, and they just cut that thing out. Because once you put oil, whether it be diesel or whatever, that cistern is no longer usable. It is donezo. Goodbye. Kiss of death. That is it. And do I care? No. It's a little thing that adds just a little bit more charm to this engine. gonna stop right there. We're gonna pick up these cars. Now, like I said, from what I gathered, they were demoted to slower freight trains. Well, at least the ones that lost their bullet nose were demoted to slower freight trains. Before they were all scrapped by, I want to say 65. But 3 did survive, and I think one of them is in working order. I think. Let me see what the website says. So 6060 is being restored at the Alberta Prairie Railway. The Sarnia Centennial Park is where 6069 is, and 6077 is at the Northern Ontario Railroad Museum. And as you can see, there's this little slobber bucket switcher that we used. So currently only one is in any form of working order. The others are just sad static displays, likely to never run again. Whee! There. Now, what do I think of the engine and game? It's great. It's fantastic. It's fun. I like it. It's things like this. You know, it's the same, with... I view K&L a lot like Caledonia Works. They're bringing out a lot of these engines, these obscure, oddball locomotives we never saw, or we know very little about, or engines that have maybe very little members in Prez, or any members in Prez. Which means a lot of them would be forgotten to time. If we didn't have these fantastic devs bringing them in and letting us see just what they were like. So I'm gonna shut up and let's enjoy the rest of this beautiful run. But before I do, what are my thoughts on the engine? I recommend it. Why? Like I said, it's one of those obscure locomotives that almost never seems to get any love. And I really feel like a lot of the devs that are out there, K&L, they're making, and to an extent, Trains Forge are making these engines that have very little presence in the heritage market. But now we're starting to see them. So that's why I recommend it. But I will see you in the next review. Bye.